Hello there, this is the Shadow Ranger. I'm just gonna answer a quick question here. It got sent to me a couple of days ago, and I meant to answer it, but I forgot that it was in my inbox, and I just noticed it. So I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about it before I forget again. This was a message sent to me by Blackrock 316. It says, "Who should be top heel for Raw?" He says, "I have a question about who should be the top heel for Raw. It's been reported that WWE feels that Alberto Del Rio is not quite at that level yet, and it seems to me that the fans lost interest in him as a heel. He had a lot of momentum going for him in the beginning, and then he fell off quickly. What do you think is the problem with Del Rio, and what do you think is wrong with heels today in WWE?" Alright. Let's take them one at a time. Let's first talk about Del Rio and then heels in general in WWE and who should be the top heel for Raw. Alright, so I am on WWE.com and I have the Raw roster up. So let's look at the heels we have listed. We have Del Rio, Brodus Clay, David Otunga, Dolph Ziggler, Drew McIntyre, Epico, Swagger, Kane, Nash, Michael McGillicuddy, Primo. I don't know what R-Truth's going to be when he comes back. The Miz, and I'm not sure about Kurt Hawkins and Tyler Rex here. I'm not quite sure, but that's who we have listed on Raw. And sorry about them yawning. It's 8:21 a.m. here. But I'm on my winter vacation, so hope for the next week, so maybe I'll be alright. Wow, not a lot of pickings here. Slim pickings here for top heel, considering what we got working on Raw. For top heel, wow. Miz, Kane. That's really what I'd have to go with, considering the options we have here, the Miz and Kane, as far as the top heel would be. Really not anybody else, unless you want to bring Kevin Nash back and let him do some heel work. Not a whole lot you got to work with, you know. Going over to SmackDown. What do you got on SmackDown? You got Cody Rhodes, Heath Slater, Hunico, Jinder Mahal. Yeah. Well, I think that answers the third question. What's the problem with heels in WWE? Ain't that many. Your heels is kind of slim pickings, which is weird. So I guess that's what's wrong with heels today in WWE. There ain't many. But let's get to Del Rio specifically. I think the problem with Del Rio is that he was given too much too soon. Something he did that is a huge pet peeve of mine. He did it. Robert Roode did it. James Storm did it. Several other people have done it too. It's a pet peeve of mine. I hate when it happens. I think it's a bad idea, no matter what. His first singles title was the world title. That's what I hate. It's a big pet peeve of mine. I think it's a bad idea with no matter who does it. I think it's always awful. You didn't have the problem with Del Rio. They shot him right to the world title, and very quickly. He's already been world champion, so there's not much for him to do. Excuse me. I know that kayfabe wise, they made CM Punk. They gave CM Punk the Slammy for Superstar of the Year, but let's be real here. Kayfabe wise, the Superstar of the Year was Del Rio. In 1 year, he won the biggest Royal Rumble ever, Money in the Bank, and the WWE title twice. He's done it all. I mean, Kurt Angle had a whirlwind year his first year in the WWE, but he did still start at the bottom, though. He won, it went Intercontinental title, then European title, then King of the Ring, then the championship, then WWF champion. He had a quick year, but you shot him Del Rio directly to the world title. You didn't have him do well in the Royal Rumble this year and then have him maybe win next year. No, this was his first Royal Rumble and he won. You didn't have him compete in his first Money in the Bank match and then, do well this year to show that he's a contender and then next year win it. They didn't. No, he won it this year, his first Royal Rumble. And then you didn't have him win like a secondary title, carry it for a while and do well with it. No, they shot him right to the WWE title. They just did so much with him. They shot past him doing stuff as a mid-card champion, so that's all gone. Even a lot of the greats held the Intercontinental title before they were world champion. Macho Man, The Rock, Stone Cold, so you got so much more out of him. If Del Rio had been Intercontinental champion or US champion first and got a heel run with the lesser title, then we could have seen more of what he had to do. He could have had a lot more lower mid-card feuds and stuff, and then you move him into it. They strapped the rocket to him too fast and sent him straight to the world title. So there's nowhere to go for Del Rio but down now. Again, what do you do with him next year? Remember, in 1 year, Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, 2-time world champion. What else is there for him? He's done it all, so they gave him everything so quick, there's nothing left for him to do. And really, who's he feud with? Who do you put him with that's believable? Anybody that any faces on his level are too. Well, how do I say this? Most of the faces are either way above him, so you're not gonna buy him winning, or he's feuded with them already, like your Cena's, your Punks and stuff, and everybody else is just a step down. You can't have Del Rio feuding with Alex Riley. That's a step down, a big step down. You can't have him feud with Kofi Kingston, big step down. Mason Ryan is a step down. Rey Mysterio, they've done it. Every feud, he's a heel, and every babyface you have to feud him with, he's either already done it or it's a huge step down for him. I think the only feud that might work for him left is Zack Ryder. Just someone super serious that gets embarrassed by Ryder and Ryder makes him look stupid for a little while. That might be the only thing you could do with him that's not too much of a it's still a step down. Remember, he's a 2-time WWE champion. Zack Ryder's still a mid-carder. He's very popular. I love Zack Ryder. I was on the Zack Ryder bandwagon way before anybody else was, because I was singing the praises of Zack Ryder before the freaking internet show started, before the YouTube show started. You can go back in my videos way before that, and I was fantasy booking stuff for Zack Ryder to do. So, I'm just glad everybody else has finally seen the talent the guy had that I was talking about months and months and months ago. That might be the only feud you can do with him that would be interesting. I'm looking at the Raw roster right now. I'm looking at the baby faces. What other baby faces there on Raw that he could feud with that might be interesting? Everything else he's already done. Everybody else, because they gave him so much in such a year, they built him up so big that it's all a step down. Zack Ryder might be the only person he could feud with that would be entertaining. Everybody else, he's either already feuded with them, or it's too big of a step down for him. That's the problem with Del Rio, is because they pushed him too far too soon. So there's nothing left. If Del Rio wasn't a 2-time WWE champion, and he was just like the United States champion right now, you could still do some mid-card feuds with him. He could feud with Zack Ryder. He could maybe do a feud with Kofi or Evan Bourne or somebody like that. But there's nobody left for him. And hop over to the SmackDown roster. Who else do we got? Who else do you got that's believable? Again, every face is too big of a step down for him now. Undertaker's still on hiatus, it's pretty much believed that, Taker is winding his career down. I mean, it's widely believed that he's gonna wrap it up at WrestleMania, make it 20-0, and be done with it. Because we ain't seen him since WrestleMania. That would be an interesting feud, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So who else do we got on SmackDown as a face? Ted DiBiase. But any feud you do with Ted DiBiase and Del Rio, one, DiBiase is a big step down for Del Rio now, and the only feud you could do would be the same one that DiBiase is doing with Jinder Mahal right now. And I like the program. I hope they do more with that Ted DiBiase Jinder Mahal thing. I'm actually liking that. I'm gonna talk a little more about that in another video, though. Okay, Sin Cara's injured. Sheamus has been done. I think Del Rio Sheamus could be possible, but Sheamus is... I'm not sure what Sheamus is really doing right now. That's a possibility if you want to have Sheamus on Raw more often. That you could get something out of that one. That might work. It's not too much. That could work if it ain't been done already. Somebody check and see if Del Rio and Sheamus have feuded. That's a possibility. Orton's busy with Barrett. Justin Gabriel, too big of a step down. Zeke, too much of a step down. If you want to move Del Rio to SmackDown, he could feud with Daniel Bryan once this Big Show Mark Henry thing is done. But I think Daniel Bryan is going to be feud with the Big Show more. So there's not really. So I'm seeing Sheamus on SmackDown, and I'm calling Sheamus, Undertaker, Zack Ryder. The only three faces I see that isn't either been done or isn't too big of a step down for Del Rio. There ain't a whole lot of options. Let me get back to your question, though. I think that's it. Who should be the top heel for Raw? I'm gonna say Miz or Kane. Del Rio, they gave him too much too soon. There's not a whole lot more you can do with him. Problem with the heels, not enough of them that are really good. And you have good. That's not really anybody in the middle. Most are either way too big or too small to do it normal, and it ruins a lot of your feuds. You need more middle of the level, middle of the card heels, and give them some time to develop themselves. So, yeah. I'm starting to ramble now, so let me go ahead and end this video. So I think that's about all I have to say about Del Rio and heels in WWE. So Blackrock 316, thank you for the question. Hope I answered it somewhere in the 13 minutes of talking that I've done. This is the Shadow Ranger. Thank you for listening. If you have a question or a topic you'd like me to talk about in a video, drop a message in my inbox and I will talk about it. So, thank you for listening and have a nice day.